saying he was caught in the middle of an investigation that did not involve him. Despite the account from investigators,
he does not have a problem with the inspections, but he says it was an unusually large amount of inspectors.
He says he was working on a car at Rice's house and tells us agents almost shot him.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is set to visit Adventure Outdoors in Smyrna on Thursday.
It shows the agents pulling up in a van and in several SUVs. Almost immediately, we hear the shooting.
And that the man they were investigating pointed a gun at them as they served a search warrant.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I'm doing is verify that. Look. Verifying that you have it. You got 2 different purchases.
Number 4. ATF visits sparks investigation. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones pledged to conduct an inquiry following the ATF's visit to Smyrna Arms Store, which was noted by several Georgia Republican representatives. The store, Adventure Outdoors, was subjected to an unexpected inspection by over a dozen ATF agents just days before an anticipated visit by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Thursday. While the store's general manager expressed no objection to inspections, he found the presence of more than 16 inspectors unusual, as typically only 6 to 7 agents would attend such inspections. The ATF agents remained on site throughout the day to conduct inventory checks on arms and review federal paperwork. The comprehensive inspection is expected to extend over several weeks. Despite the ATF's visit, Governor DeSantis intends to proceed with his planned visit to Adventure Outdoors later in the week.
He does not have a problem with the inspections, but he says it was an unusually large amount of inspectors. Late last week, more than a dozen ATF agents visited the store for an inspection. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is set to visit Adventure Outdoors in Smyrna on Thursday, a local gun store that received a surprise visit from the ATF just days before another high-profile visit.
Number 3. ATF raid shooting analysis. The recent incident involving federal agents from the ATF opening fire during a raid in an Arlington neighborhood has raised significant concerns and sparked debate about law enforcement practices and accountability. The video obtained by the News4Jack's team captures the moments leading up to the shooting, but crucial details about the events remain disputed. According to the ATF, the shooting occurred after someone allegedly pointed an arm at the agents. However, this detail is not visible in the video, leaving room for interpretation and speculation. While the ATF claims that their actions were justified in response to a perceived threat, witnesses at the scene, including a man working on a car at Rice's house, dispute this account. They assert that no arm was pointed at the agents and accuse them of reckless shooting and failure to properly identify themselves. The video shows federal agents pulling up in a van, followed by the sound of firearm. Approximately a dozen shots are heard, raising questions about the necessity and proportionality of the response. Despite the armed fire, no one was injured, but 3 men were detained, and Darnell Rice, a 27-year-old armed security guard, was arrested. Rice stands accused of illegally selling a modified hand arm capable of automatic fire to a confidential informant for $1,800. While Rice's booking report reflects his background as an armed security guard, the federal complaint against him alleges serious offenses related to arms trafficking. However, it is essential to note that Rice disputes the charges and maintains his innocence.
He says he was working on a car at Rice's house and tells us agents almost shot him, saying he was caught in the middle of an investigation that did not involve him. Despite the account from investigators,
that particular time I felt like they wasn't doing their job and my life was in jeopardy. I actually thought I was going to die that day.
The witness present at the scene expresses concerns about the agent's conduct, describing the situation as chaotic and potentially life-threatening. He accuses the agents of being reckless and endangering innocent bystanders who were not involved in the investigation. Despite their assertions, the ATF supervisors declined to respond to the witnesses' statements, citing an ongoing investigation. The incident highlights broader issues surrounding law enforcement practices and accountability. Critics argue that the ATF's use of force during the raid raises questions about the adequacy of their training, protocols, and adherence to legal standards. Furthermore, the lack of transparency and accountability in the ATF's response to the witnesses' complaints undermines public trust and confidence in law enforcement agencies. Moreover, the incident underscores the need for greater oversight and accountability mechanisms to ensure that law enforcement agencies are held accountable for their actions. Transparency and accountability are essential for maintaining public trust and confidence in law enforcement and promoting accountability to misconduct or abuses of power.
He insists no one pointed a gun at agents and that the weapons were inside the home. It shows the agents pulling up in a van and in several SUVs. Almost immediately, we hear the shooting.
And that the man they were investigating pointed a gun at them as they served a search warrant. Video this evening shows federal agents opening fire in an Arlington neighborhood.
Number 2. ATF harassment of arm owners. The encounter between a member of the National Association for Arm Rights and an ATF agent regarding the force reset trigger is alarming and raises concerns about the ATF's actions and disregard for legal injunctions. Despite the issuance of a preliminary injunction on October 7 to protect NAGR members from ATF harassment, the agent attempted to seize the trigger, claiming it was now classified as a mash gun. The NAGR member rightly expressed concern and cited the injunction to the ATF agent, emphasizing that such actions were prohibited. However, the agent persisted in trying to retrieve the trigger, disregarding the legal constraints imposed by the injunction. This behavior is troubling and highlights the ATF's disregard for lawful procedures and citizens' rights. The conversation between the NAGR member and the ATF agent revealed the agent's persistence in trying to obtain the trigger, despite the member's assertion that he did not possess it. The agent's insistence on retrieving the trigger, even in the face of legal injunctions, raises questions about the ATF's adherence to due process and respect for citizens' rights. The NAGR member's refusal to comply with the ATF's demands, coupled with his assertion of his rights, is commendable. He stood his ground and did not succumb to the ATF's intimidation tactics. Additionally, the member's decision to seek assistance from NAGR and legal counsel demonstrates the importance of knowing one's rights and seeking support when faced with government overreach. The ATF's attempt to seize the trigger despite the legal injunction underscores the need for vigilant oversight of government agencies and their actions. It is imperative to hold law enforcement accountable and ensure they operate within the confines of the law, respecting citizens' rights and legal protections. The interaction between the NAGR member and the ATF agent highlights the importance of organizations like NAGR in defending individuals' Second Amendment rights and protecting them from government overreach. By providing legal support and guidance, NAGR empowers individuals to assert their rights and resist unlawful actions by government agencies. The ATF's disregard for the legal junction and its persistence in trying to seize the trigger raise concerns about the agency's conduct and adherence to legal constraints. It is essential for citizens to be aware of their rights and to stand up against government overreach, as demonstrated by the NAGR member in this instance. Number 1. ATF visit concerns. The recent visits from the ATF to an arm owner's house have sparked concerns and debates surrounding arm control measures and the extent of law enforcement authority in such matters. In a video shared by the arm rider, the encounter between the ATF agent, a Delaware state trooper, and the arm owner is documented, raising questions about potential violations of privacy rights and the motives behind such visits. The video depicts ATF agents and a Delaware state trooper arriving at the arms owner's house with a list of arms allegedly purchased by him within a specific time frame. The agents express their intention to check whether the arm owner still possesses these arms. The arm owner appears cooperative, showing one rifle to the agents, although they had listed 7 arms in total. Despite the absence of any evidence or probable cause, the agents engage in a discussion about recent armed violence, implying that their visit is part of efforts to address such issues. Critics argue that the ATF's actions may be motivated by political agendas or biases, especially considering the reforms made by the Biden administration's federal arms license system. They suggest that the ATF's focus on individuals who may not align with the administration views on arm control raises concerns about selective enforcement and potential violations of constitutional rights. The encounter also raises questions about the legality of the ATF's actions and the extent of their authority to conduct searches or seizures without probable cause or a warrant. While the agents claim to be investigating potential straw purchases, critics argue that the absence of evidence or suspicion should preclude such intrusive visits to law-abiding arm owners. Moreover, the ATF's reliance on the number of arm purchases as a basis for investigation is criticized as arbitrary and potentially discriminatory. The arm owner in question had purchased 7 arms within a specific period, prompting the ATF's visit. However, critics argue that such criteria lacks sufficient justification and may lead to unwarranted scrutiny of law-abiding citizens. The encounter highlights broader concerns about privacy rights and government overreach in the context of arm control measures. The ATF's visit to the arm owner's house without probable cause or a warrant raises questions about the balance between public safety concerns and individual rights. Critics argue that while efforts to prevent illegal arms trafficking are commendable, they should not come at the expense of constitutional protections and civil liberties.
2 ATF, what appears to be ATF agents, they're in t-shirts and jeans with some sort of...
If you have them, I'm out of here. That's how quick it is. Yeah.
Decided that this guy was not a straw purchaser. Did he destroy all the paperwork? And you'll notice he's flipping through the pages, and he has this guy's 7 guns that he purchased.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I'm doing is verifying that, verifying that you have it. You got 2 different purchases.
That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.